What has helped you to go back to your roots after you were forced to forget your culture and your identity?
I would just say it's not that easy. You just don't suddenly leave the mushroom and then you're gonna jump into it, because it's been such a destructive force in my life that once I was in the mush hole and then into foster care, that's 12 years out of my life away from my community. And that's really what happened to a lot of other people. So,
Okay, when I came out of the residential school, well, when I was born in the longhouse ways. I got my first name, which was A. Howie. I got my English name when I had to get registered, and that was to go to school and that. So I had to have an English name. And so when my mom and dad split up when I was 5, I was taken up the other end of the reserve, and I didn't have the ceremonies anymore. I didn't go to church either because I didn't know what that was. And I mean, they were there, but I had to go to church when I was in residential school, though I was forced to go to Anglican church. And then when I came out, I married an Irish guy, and we had 3 children, and I married him, and I lost my status. And I got it back with Bill C-31, me and my 3 children. And after I divorced him, I came back to my reservation, my reserve, and then I built a house and everything like that. But I started going back to I went back for language. I went for 1 whole year of Cuba language, and I started going back to Longhouse, where I got my mom in there, my daughter. They all have their own Wahhoe names now. So, but it's hard, and the language is being taught in the daycares and everything too. So it was hard at first, because when you're not used to it, when you don't use it, you lose it, right? With anything, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm slowly coming back again, and I plan on going to full force with when I'm retired next year. But I'm slowly, because we do have a school. Like when you get your bachelor's and everything, my youngest daughter's in that now. She's in her 3rd year of Cuba. And like when my one granddaughter was on the reserve going to school, she did JK, SK, and strictly Cuba, right? And then she goes, "Grandma, I'm gonna go to school and learn English now." So, and she knows a lot of languages now because she's a Parisian and French and that. So it's coming back, but you know what? We have to learn the adults have to learn how to keep on sharing with the young ones too, to help them understand of their language. So we even speak the language of pets. Dogs understand the language too, So, we say Gaji, come here, and Hanyo, and like things like that. And Sowas and the goose. Those animals understand our domestic ones. They understand the language too, just like the John said when he did the horses in the Mohawk language. So if you use it, it continues on. But that's what you have to do. You have to be comfortable using it and not having that fear of being slapped or getting disciplined with it by something. But it's that fear within too. So Yamagoa,
can I just add one more thing? And that's because the churches had such a strong influence in our territory, a lot of the teachers that, say, graduated in the early, say around 1919, somewhere around there, a lot of them came back to our community. And they taught the same way, as that they would punish your own people for speaking the language. It was not acceptable, so that's where some of it went underground. It wasn't taught. But I see a revival now, even with my grandchildren, because it is taught in regular public school, but there's a big effort right now to build the Galvanio School, the Mohawk Immersion School, and they've been at this for a long, long, long time, So it's coming back, but see how influence was. Like our kids in our own territory would be punished for speaking their language in school. So And even you ask the elders a long time ago, I'd ask them, why don't you speak your language? And it's like, they're just afraid for their children. So that's partly where it was too.
I just wanted to say, I'm a Mohawk woman. However, I don't know my language, but I was a late bloomer, and I went to Lakehead, and all of my classmates were Ojibwe or Oji Cree, and I decided I'm kind of lazy. So when they said we had to have a native language to graduate, I didn't want to go to Kingston to learn Mohawk. I decided to stay here and learn Ojibwe. And then when I first got my first job as a teacher, I had to teach Ojibwe to grades 1 and 3. And I'm going, oh my gosh, because I'm not fluent, but I knew the basics. So, and the people in the community, the older people all knew their language. Their children were losing it already. And so they were trying to revive it in the kids. And just recently I thought, gee, I forget half of those words. So I won this book and this CD about 10 years ago of Ojibwe language and terms and, those, all the animals and everything else. And so I got them out the other day and I thought, I'm going to go back and become more fluent. Not too many people, New Credit, they speak Ojibwe, right? So then that's right beside our reserve, or part of our reserve. And so it was kind of I wish I'd learned Mohawk now, but hey, too late. Oh, maybe not.